Hey, buddy. Guess who's back?
Hey, who's that?
Our good pal, Mack Brown.
Oh, God.
Hello, everyone. Nathan and Alan here. We are your Heel Brothers, and our good old pal, old buddy, old friend, the Macketh Brown, has made his return after disappearing, after telling North Carolina's not caring about lives. They're caring about they're caring about team, and they're not caring about people's lives, and he cares about people's lives, and the team doesn't care about people's lives. I don't know whatever kind of thing he spilt that last little press conference right after the very last game of the season. But Mack Brown's back. He is back with a vengeance, I tell you. He's moved to Austin, Texas. He is posting every day on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all this, that, and the other thing of him doing the horns up, baby, showing up to basketball games, absolutely infiltrating and contaminating the Texas basketball staff over there. Mack Brown shows up, the head coach gets fired, this, that, and the other thing. It's been a fun time for Mack Brown. He's been golfing a lot with a lot of Texas alumni, and he reposts old things of North Carolina, and it's just been a fun time for Mack Brown over the last few months, ever since the university decided, you know what, Mack? The standard that has been set by you is no longer good for us.
We are playing to a standard, period.
And our own standard for football is not even good for us anymore, so we need you to get up at and let's go find a new guy in Bill Belichick. So, Alan, what does our good buddy Mack Brown do in this time?
Golf?
Tell you. Well,
Okay.
he done that.
Tell
He
me.
did do that. But he's been taken to the podcast scene. He has been getting in touch with his media side. Now, we all know.
Why hasn't he been
Andrew
on our
Jones,
podcast?
I don't know. I don't. It may have been because of what I said. Maybe I heard his. Maybe I did kind of come off a little strong on this on the way in. I'm sorry, man. You're a nice fella. You're a nice guy. I'm not going to apologize anymore. So anyway, Mack Brown, he's taken to the media side. As we all know, he's a very heavily media-minded type of person. Just ask Andrew Jones of Tar Heel Illustrated. Shout out to THI. Hey, and also congratulations on your career, buddy. Looking forward to seeing what you do in the future. But also,
Go AJ.
he takes to the... Say what now? What'd you say?
Go AJ.
Go AJ. And go
Hooray.
Heels. And AJ will be in... he hasn't signed the contract yet, but he'll be joining us full-time.
Okay.
That's not actually happening, but that would be awesome if that did. Anyway, Mack Brown hopped on a podcast interview the other day.
On
And I'm
three.
going to pull up Sports Illustrated here. That way we can get the correct information of this entire thing. I'm not exactly sure who he was interviewed by. This Sports
On
Illustrated article. Say again?
On three.
On three. Okay. So the company that just bought Rivals, which was the company that THI was working for.
I don't want.
So he did an interview with On Three, and here is what Mr. Mack Brown had to say in a quick little clip, and we'll kind of go through and look at context here. I'm gonna read you the headline, and this kind of sums up the entire interview, if you will, the article. But he says that Mack Brown says that UNC lowered standards to help Bill Belichick succeed in football. Alan, quick thoughts before we get into some context here.
Okay.
What'd you think?
Lowered academic standards to succeed in football.
Yes.
Well, that's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, that hasn't been a talking point. Now we're not in there every day.
I mean, it's not like we got the Georgia, drunk fest slobber knockers, coming to North Carolina to get a degree.
Correct. It's still pretty
We haven't
difficult to get in there. Just ask
haven't
at Hill Central, or now Tuffy Central. Sorry.
We haven't had any, drunkards coming to campus wanting to play football.
You really hammered home this drunkard thing, huh?
Yeah, binge drinking, party goers. No,
He's a real.
no, I'm sure they still go to class. I'm sure they do.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, another quote by Mack Brown here: as far as North Carolina and Bill Belichick now, he's arguably the best coach ever. They've committed money to it. They've helped him with academics. They've lowered those standards some. So there's absolutely no reason they shouldn't be successful. And anymore, they've changed the roster. So you've got a chance to succeed at the highest level. And I expect him to do that. And I'm proud for him. Now, one more little quote here. There we go.
What is he proud of?
North
Proud for
Carolina
what?
didn't have NIL money. He said in the reference to his departing the school. I said, we're kind of a slow bleed. We weren't able to recruit the top kids like we were when we first got there. So it was time for them and it was time for me. So it was kind of like a divorce. Everybody was ready. Now that if we tear all that apart, that last statement right there was true. Everybody was ready.
Everybody was
I
ready.
remember taking my buddy and my girlfriend at the time to go watch like, you know what, man? You know, you've never been to Chapel Hill. We're buddies. Let's go up, take you to a game. We'll take you to the JMU game. That'll be a fun game. We're going to go up there, get that win, no problem. And then they hang 70 on you. 70 to 50. I was the most embarrassed as a North Carolina fan and a friend in the world. I'm like, oh, just take my buddy up there. We had a great time.
There was
Got up there
plenty of
early,
action
got
that game. It's
breakfast.
not like it was a snooze fest. At least it wasn't like a 7-3 game.
No, I would rather it be a 7-3 game that we won instead of a 70 to 50 game that we lost by a group of 5.
Game? What if you lost a 7-3 game?
Well, at least it's not 70. I guess
Yeah,
I could
I
at
guess
least said, you know what, new quarterback, third string, this, that, and the other thing. I could have made some excuses. 70, 50, you can't make.
I suppose you're right.
There's nothing you can do. You can't sugarcoat that at all.
I suppose not.
But yeah, North Carolina was completely ready to move on from Mack. We talked about this, when the news happened that, and I had been kind of ready for Mack to go. You were a little bit more hesitant at first, and then as the season went, it's like, okay, this is done for. I want to hit the recruiting spot really quickly. He said that he couldn't recruit the recruits like he did when they first got there. Do you have any theories as to why that is? I do. Go ahead.
And I know where you're going to go with it. And he makes points that are correct. North Carolina wasn't really NIL heavy when Mack Brown was around.
Right.
They do have more NIL money now that Bill Belichick is around.
Mm-hmm.
But I also believe that is what Bill Belichick required in order for him to put his name on the dotted line.
Yes. As far as we know. Yes.
But you did have the two best quarterbacks to ever grace North Carolina's campus. You also had a number 1 round draft pick and a running back in Amarion Hampton. You also had top tier linebackers.
Every
year. You were undefeated and lost to some bums.
Yeah.
With that same running back quarterback combination.
And here's the thing. North Carolina's recruiting class wasn't half bad before he left. But at the very end of that season, do you remember what happened? People started flipping recruits. They're just like, I don't want to be going to this. It's a dumpster fire. So where my theory is with the recruiting aspect, was North Carolina extremely NIL heavy? No, not a bit. But let me ask you a question. If North Carolina succeeds, wins an ACC championship, consistently gets to the ACC championship, doesn't start a season 9-1 and lose the last 4 to end 9-5. By the way, he played in the ACC championship that year with a quarterback that was in the Heisman contention race. And then you say, you know what? Okay, let's double up. Let's go get a bunch of guys from transfers. Now here's the thing. North Carolina wasn't heavy recruiting this past season anyway. They figured, we'll have a heavy transfer portal class. That's what we wanted. That's what, quote unquote, Mack Brown's like, okay, we're not going to have a heavy recruitment class. We're going to do heavy. We do some recruits, heavy transfer portal. There's one thing that North Carolina didn't have an issue with. That was transfer portal. We know that every year they brought in multiple guys. You bring in the Tez Walkers of the worlds, the Willie Lampkins of the worlds, the Amari Gaynors of the worlds, the Elijah Huzzies. You bring in those are some nice names I just mentioned there. You bring those guys in every single year, and what do you do with them? A recruit will come to you. Look at Clemson. Clemson isn't a team that has been super over the moon NIL wise. They're not spending. They're not getting into tug of war battles with SEC teams and Big Ten teams over money over these 5-star athletes like a Sammy Brown or whoever the case. They're going out there and they're saying, you know what, we've brought guys in and we have taken them and we have developed them and they are going to the NFL. And not only that, but they're winning while they're here. You do that, a guy's going to think about that a little bit more. The right kind
You
of
might
player.
get the Johnny 5-star. You might get the
Right.
Johnny 5-star or the Teddy
here's the thing.
4-star.
And let's look at the Bill Belichick. We'll get to that in a second. But Mack Brown took a team with two of the best quarterbacks in the world that were North Carolina wise that North Carolina ever had. Two great quarterbacks. Two, I think personally, maybe number 1 and number 3 all time. Maybe number 1, number 2 all time. We'll see. I personally, that's my kind of thought process. I'm a Drake May fan. Looking forward to seeing him with the Patriots this year. But you have those guys. They're top tier talent. You go get them some wide receivers, and you still find a way to start 6-0 in a season, and then win the next 2. Win 2 out of the remaining 4. You start 6-0, and you end 2-4. And then you lose the ball game badly. How do you manage to do this stuff? So there's some culpability here. Oh, it's not all about just, we had money and it was the money issue. That's the only reason we couldn't get recruits. No, recruits started seeing through. When you first came back, it's like, holy crap. It's the return of the Mack. We talked about this. Mack Brown's back. Mack Brown, Hall of Fame head coach, national championship at Texas, took North Carolina to new heights they had never been before, haven't seen since. Holy crap, he's coming back. Here we go. Recruits started flooding to you. Flip a Sam Howell. You bring in those guys. You start building up the recruiting class. But what happened? You build it up, and then you started doing the same thing every year. No. No. It was the same thing every year. You were on the up and up the first 2 years, and then what happened the 6 and 7 year? A team that's ranked 10th in the country comes in, boom, you're out. You're done. 6 and 7, you lose bad to South Carolina. To end off your season. One of your great quarterbacks. Okay. Next up, Drake May, 9-1. You lose the last 4. Next year, his last year, 6-0. Boom, 2-4 in the last 6. Kidding me, man. Get out of here with that. So let's switch over to Bill Belichick. Oh, well, they did all this it's the money for Bill Belichick. It's the money for Bill, and that they did this and they lowered the academic standards. Okay. Now, the academic standard thing, I want to hit on for that for a second, because North Carolina is a very high-tiered school. We understand this. It is a premier college across the country. There are a few of these places. Do I believe that they dropped some academic standards a little bit? I would be curious to see what that looks like. Would it surprise me? No. I don't think it is dramatic as it may sound. I don't think they say, we want guys that are, 3.5 GPA average, and then let's bump it down to a 2.5. I don't believe that one bit. North Carolina, the University of North Carolina is still going to keep the University of North Carolina standards. Now, they may drop it down a smidge. I'd be curious to see what that number looks like. I'm not in that building. I don't know. That's just my guesstimation. There we go. How about that? The NIL money thing. Here's why I'm glad that we have a friend like an Andrew Jones. Because what has AJ told us on this show and also in nice conversations that we've had? Bill Belichick ain't going out and spending money just because he's got it. Now, he may have more money. That is true. But what does Bill Belichick want in a player, Alan? What's he want?
Toughness.
He wants toughness. He wants a guy that's going to buy into the program and not just here because you make money. That's not what Bill is all about. Look at any Bill Belichick team and tell me the guy that's on that team that's he's just there because, oh, he got a massive contract. Any of them over the last 25 years. You're not going to find one. That's not who Bill wants. He wants a guy that's going to buy in to his program, and you're going to come to work every day with your lunch pail, and you're going to work hard no matter what you're making. And Michael Lombardi has talked about it. Hey, some guys might not get what it is. They got to buy in. You got to earn your spot. You got to earn your number now at North Carolina. It's not given to you. Some of the guys that showed up in Carolina for Mack Brown that are not there anymore, that's going back to his old place of business, were there just because, hey, he had a guaranteed spot on the starting D line. Let's crack this bad boy all open.
Hook 'em horns, hook 'em, hook 'em, hook 'em. Woo, 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 woo.
I like Mack Brown, but he is about the spoilest baby I ever saw in my life. He is mad because North Carolina said, you know what? We're done with you. They said it before he got to say it. If you don't believe me, go back to when he left Texas. He buried the new guy coming in there because Texas said, you know what? We're falling off. It's time, Mack. It's time to go. And he's like, oh, well, I'm retiring. I'm gonna retire. I'm going fishing. I'm doing my thing. You know, I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, I think he did do that. I think he retired at halftime or post game of JMU.
Yeah. Takes no
So he beat him to the
responsibility.
punch.
It's no responsibility. It is legitimately straight up. Hey, well, they were a slow bleed. We weren't able to recruit. I didn't have the money. We didn't have that thing. We didn't have. Which you take little nuggets of truth, but then you spin it. That's what he's doing here. He's taking little nuggets of truth, little things that we do know, and he's spinning it to try and make him trying to turn him babyface. Not happening, no.
He's taking sprinkles on a turd.
Yeah. Any thoughts you'd like to get out? I've let out all my frustrations.
Nah. I don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
The more he says, the more people just understand that Mack Brown is Mack Brown.
Yep.
I guess we're finally seeing the reason why our grandpa said that he'd never pull for Mack Brown again.
Well, got a point. He's got a point, and yes, he is a Hall of Famer. He has had a great career. That is 100% true, but he does not handle the end. He does not know how to handle being fired, being let go. He does not know how to handle it. He will take and he will shift blame, and we're seeing that again. But hey, I'm actually thankful for Mack Brown coming back. Because him coming back put North Carolina on enough of a map for Bill Belichick to show up. So, boom, there is that. So, I give him credit for that. And for he did do what he did say he wanted to do, which was make North Carolina relevant again. He did do that. Give him credit for that.
He did it.
He did that.
He raised the floor.
He raised the floor. Not by much, but he raised the floor. I can't.
He raised it by like 4 or 5 games. Come on now, they won like 2 games before they came.
Yeah, he raised it by like half a season. So I mean, there is that for them. So, but hey, what are your thoughts on Mack Brown and his comments on North Carolina? Let us know down there in the comments below. If you like the video, be sure to hit that like button. If you're brand new, hit the subscribe button. Hang out with us. Talk North Carolina football, basketball, baseball, field hockey, lacrosse. I don't know. We'll do hockey at some point in time too. I actually went to a hockey game last year, and I would like to go back to another one because that was pretty fun. Even though we did get destroyed in the Charlotte Knight Stadium against Virginia Tech, still a great time. But let us know what you think down there in the comments below. Be sure and like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff that I just mentioned. And boy, I can't wait for the next Mack Brown. Mack Brown.
I wonder what kind of nugget Mack Brown will drop next.
Yeah, this may be his last one before the season. We'll see. But if North Carolina does not succeed, he is going to have a field day. That
I
is
see
for
it's
sure.
not as easy as you think, Billy Belichick. It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. It's going to be
That
interesting.
extra money
I'll say
didn't
the
buy you
least.
no wins, did it?
Well, anyway, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. And as always, go get it.
Woohoo!